Okay, I'm not exactly sure how to start this, but today is Tuesday, April 7th, 2026, and this is my first YouTube video. I've been like thinking about making a channel for a while. Not because I want to be like YouTube famous or anything like that, but because, my gosh, you know what? There's only so much I can talk about to the same 45 people every day, half of which don't care. You know what I mean? So might as well talk to myself on the internet. And everyone was like, Ace, make a channel, Ace, make a channel. No one said that, but like everyone was thinking it, you know? And like, who am I to disappoint? You know what I mean? My mom got me this bowl for Easter, and it has strawberry shortcake all over it. It's literally the coolest thing in the entire world. I'm so happy about it. I wanted to wear my strawberry shortcake like pajama pants, but they're not at my house actively, which is really sad because that would have been really fun to eat ramen in a strawberry shortcake bowl with strawberry shortcake pajamas on, but it's okay. They're here in spirit. And this is a large mango smoothie from Dutch Brothers because my best friend came and picked me up, and we went to go pick up our other best friend, and then we got drinks and went to the store and went to his house for a while. I love moments like that, you know? I mean, like, he kind of just showed up outside my house and was like, hey, let's go. I love spontaneity. I love a spontaneous moment. I love having friends that I can really rely on for anything. You know what I mean? I didn't really even get to talk to him much today, but my friends are kind of just intuitively there whenever I need them. And I hope that they feel the same way. I hope I'm the same for them, you know? I hope that they feel that back, because I just love them. Like, you know, how lucky am I to have a friend who shows up outside my house to take me to get drinks and just to hang out for a little while? Like, how lucky am I to have someone like that in my life? You know what I mean? I'm just so grateful. And it's just like, I always find myself feeling so evil, for lack of better words. I find myself feeling so detached, and I wonder where that sprouts from. Do I have an idea? I have a few ideas about, you know, why I feel that way, but I think what's more important than that anyways is different combatants. You know, what you use to combat the negative feelings that you have. I have many negative feelings. I am quite the pessimist, but at the end of the day, having a friend who will come to my house to pick me up to go and get drinks is all I really need. Today in my AP macro class, we were discussing the effects of optimism and pessimism on different consumer spending trends, and it just really made me think about how I have always been a raging pessimist for my entire life. I really couldn't tell you much about my younger life, but I do recall kind of feeling this internal rage. Ever since I was younger, I just had this anger toward the world and towards the way that other people see the world. Probably gonna sound slightly full of myself, but I have always very strongly believed in my values and my beliefs, and you know, in some situations that can drive a person to be more open to learning about other people's perspectives on things. But me personally, and this is where it gets bad, I suppose, I've never been one to respect the viewpoints of other people. And I know that's like a horrible thing to say, and that shouldn't be something that I'm proud of, and by no means am I proud of it. You know, I definitely have worked on it in recent years, but even now I notice myself not valuing the opinions of others if their opinions don't exactly align with mine. I used to get into these super heated arguments with people, even now, that's why I do mock trial, that's why I do speech and debate. But when I was younger, I remember just arguing all the time, and it made me, and it festered into what I am now, you know. The trends that I experienced when I was younger, I didn't get from nowhere, you know what I mean? Like, they weren't just, some of them were just innately there, but not all of them, you know what I mean? I had a lot of influences in my life when I was younger, that were very angry. You know, I had a lot of very angry influences. My parents never got along, and my aunt and uncle never got along, and I spent a lot of time around those two couples. So the only true examples of anything that I had growing up was anger and arguing and things of the sort. And when I look back on my life, what little I remember of it, in context to who I am now, I just think about how angry I've become. And I don't say that lightly, you know, I mean, anger is not a light thing to take, you know, it's very taxing emotion on both the person inhabiting it and the person or persons receiving it. It's a very, very taxing emotion. So obviously I don't look back on all these experiences in bliss. I look back and I look at me now, not at all with a sense of pity, and not exactly with a sense of disgust either. Something, a secret third thing, if you will. And in the greater context of my life, I have had really good influences. However, most of the good influences that I've had were fleeting. You know, they weren't influences that really stuck with me, in the sense that they were so short. And when you have so little good and so much bad, it almost feels like there is no combatant. You know what I mean? It almost feels like there's nothing to get you out of that. It feels like there's a pit of angry people all the time, constantly circling your head. This is a much better angle. You know what? First episode, it's fine. I feel like this is like a podcast. This feels like my personal podcast. I feel like I need a name now. Okay, I'm gonna come up with a name for my podcast and I'll have it by the next episode. But moving forward, I don't want to be the kind of person who finds comfort in that. You know what I mean? I think throughout the course of my life, I have found so much comfort in my pessimism. I feel that, not to be a broken record, but if you feel like you're going to be disappointed, you never have to actually experience it. In my experiences, I've been both. I definitely tried to be a pocket full of sunshine kind of person, and it just didn't. I never saw the world that way. But when I really think about it, it wasn't because the world isn't that way. I never give myself a fair shot to see it that way. And of course, the world isn't all sunshine and cupcakes and rainbows. I mean, I could sit here for hours and hours and hours and go on with everything wrong in this world. But in the grand scheme of things, I am not the best version of myself in any way. And in the grander scheme of things, I have no motivation to become a better version of myself. And in the grandest scheme of things, I feel that my lack of motivation is, in some paradoxical way, motivation in and of itself. The fact that I don't have many motivations in my life, despite my many hobbies and my many talents, if you will, nothing truly catches me anymore. Again, back to when I was younger and all I had around me was anger. Constantly, it was just angry all the time. That even when I found things that I enjoyed, I always sought out the anger in them. Even now, I seek out things that make me feel bad because I don't know how to handle anything else. I was never given a blueprint for how to take things on the chin and how to take them as they are and accept them for what they are and move on. You know, I was always taught to really internalize things, and any little bad thing, you know, would take over everyone's day. And that's how I've become. And I know that we are a product of our environment, but I often say that I think it's important to, at a certain point, realize that no matter who failed you, no matter who misguided you, at a certain point it becomes your responsibility to guide yourself. And I think, and now that I am 30 something days away from graduating high school, I'm not gonna make excuses for my lack of motivation. And like I said, my lack of motivation is in some weird way, motivation in and of itself. Is that masochistic? Probably a tad, but at this point, most integral things are. You know, I find that in a world too often governed by corruption and arrogance, it can be difficult to stay true to one's philosophical and literary principles. And that's how I feel every day of my life. I feel that it's so difficult to stay true to my philosophical principles. But that, again, in and of itself, is motivation to not become the person I see myself becoming. I think if there is good in even the darkest of nights, such as a friend who will show up to your door and get you a mango smoothie, then there's goodness in me too. And maybe Veronica was right, and there's good in everybody. That's the edge of my thought precipice for the day. This wasn't very philosophical, but you know what? First time, so we'll get there. I feel like once I do at least 2 or 3 of these, or have like an established thought map for the course of the video, I'll probably be a little better at it. But for now, that is it. And I'm gonna go try to figure out how to edit this video, and maybe I'll post it. I really hope I can look back on this in like 10 years and think that I was so super insanely corny.